All right, everybody, we're back. Servers are back, for now at least. If I was to ask you, what is the community's favorite legendary rocket launcher in this game currently? I guarantee you, there's going to be at least one rocket launcher that comes to your mind. I am referring to the Arc Adaptive Rocket Launcher, the Hothead that got taken out of the Nightfall pool back in Season 18. Season 17, the last time this rocket launcher was available. Also, another good one. Royal Entry, but this is a Void one. Also, a weaker damage frame. The Hothead is very popular because it has relatively decent handling. It has amazing perks, and of course you were able to put adept big ones on it because you could get an adept version because it was a Nightfall weapon. Of course, you might not have one of these rocket launchers, and that's where we go over to some changes going into Lightfall that you might find interesting. So let's talk about it. Okay, first change to boot. Umbral Ingrams will no longer be dropping in Destiny 2 at the start of next season, Season 20. Adios to the seasonal energy, because we're going to be using seasonal Ingrams from here on out. Personally, I'm here for it. Hopefully the servers are as well. Let's talk about focusing for the core activities. So right here we have Vanguard and Nightfall focusing. Starting in Season 20, Commanders of Allah will offer the ability for players to focus Vanguard weapons and armor. Vanguard will be the final of the core rituals to get comprehensive Ingram focusing options. However, it's not going to be the only one, trust me. We then have Vanguard Ingrams, which will be a virtual currency and live exclusively on the rank progress bar on Commanders of Allah. Vanguard Ingrams may be opened individually by players directly on Zavala. Then here's just another little tidbit for Vanguard gear focusing. You can of course focus your Vanguard Ingrams directly into Vanguard armor or weapons, and they do not need to be claimed in order to be spent. And then, like I said earlier, of course, Vanguard isn't going to be the only one seeing this. In fact, every ritual will see growth in the number of items available for focusing as we introduce legacy gear focusing. The system will allow players to obtain many pieces of gear from the last several years of Destiny 2, many of which have not been accessible for quite some time. Now, for the rest of this video, I'm just going to be talking about the Vanguard and Nightfall side of things that were mentioned inside of this article, as I myself am not the biggest PvP person. That being said, here are the Vanguard weapons available for focusing in Season 20. Got the Xeno class, the third axiom, Royal Entry, Empty Vessel, Punching Out, Fortissimo, the Strident Whistle, I love that bow, the Pure Poetry, and then the Prolonged Engagement, aka the Stasis Funnel Web. Let's talk about Nightfall weapon focusing. So Zavala will also offer Nightfall weapon focusing. Nightfall weapons must have been acquired from Nightfall strikes at least once before being available for focusing. Nightfall weapon focusing cost is 1 Vanguard Ingram, 20,000 Glimmer, and then 50 legendary shards. And then the Nightfall weapons available for focusing in Season 20 are going to be the Malicious Birthright, Mindbender's Ambition, poor thing so bad nowadays, Wendigo GL3, the Hung Jury Scout Rifle, the Dead Orbit OG, the Swarm, and then the Buzzard. Also, starting in Season 20, when running Grand Master Nightfalls, in addition to getting your previously existing rewards, players will also now be acquiring Adept Nightfall Ciphers. The number of ciphers that players can earn depends on whether players qualify for platinum, gold, or silver rewards at the end of the Nightfall. And then the number of ciphers awarded per GM Nightfall completion score are going to be 2 per platinum, 1 for gold, and then 0 for everything else. Seems like pretty simple, straightforward stuff, but there's nothing that straightforward in this game most of the time. And if you're wondering how much some of these focusing is going to cost for these Nightfall weapons, I got you, fam. Here you go. The Nightfall weapon is going to cost 1 Vanguard Ingram, 20k Glimmer, 25 legendary shards, and 0 Adept Nightfall ciphers. Okay, for Adept Nightfall weapons, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. 3 Vanguard Ingrams, 50k Glimmer, 50 legendary shards, and 10 Adept Nightfall ciphers. That's a bit pricey. Now, something else that is pretty cool is that Zavala will offer a single Adept Nightfall weapon for focusing each week, matching the Nightfall weapon that is currently in the rotation. So if you can't run the GMs, you can at least try and focus them. The Adept Nightfall weapons available for focusing in Season 20 are going to be the Malicious Birthright, Mindbender's Ambition, Wendigo, Hung Jury, Swarm, and Buzzard, aka the same list that we talked about a little earlier in the video. Now, this next part is pretty important for anybody that does not have the Hothead, like I mentioned at the start of this video, for legacy focusing. The Nightfall weapons available are going to be the Plug One, the Uzume, which hasn't been around since pre-Witch Queen, the Hothead, bada bing, bada boom, the Comedian, the Duty Bound AR, the Silicone Neuroma, the DFA, and then the Horror's Lease. Meaning, if you don't have a Hothead, this is going to be your prime opportunity to get one. Now, I know you're wondering the cost of this, so here you go. If a player has not acquired the weapon previously, it's going to be 7 Vanguard Ingrams, 100 legendary shards, 10,000 Glimmer. And then if a player has acquired the weapon previously, it's only going to be 3 Vanguard Ingrams, 25 legendary shards, and then 25k Glimmer. Note, Adept version of legacy weapons will not be available for focusing. focusing. That is a bit unfortunate, but it's definitely better than nothing. And then real quick, here is the armor that's going to be available for Vanguard Legacy Focusing. The Took Offense, the Shelter in Place, Xenos Veil 4, Phobos Warden, and then the Vigil of Heroes. As always, guys, there will be a link to this article at the top of the description if you want to read over it for yourself. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this down below. I think this is definitely a huge W, especially for some people that never got that Hothead that they were looking for, as well as it should be easier to go ahead and farm some of those Vanguard weapons because, bro, some of those can definitely be a pain to get. On that, though, thank you so much for watching. You guys be safe.